Hi, I'm Debra Hamilton. Welcome to my podcast, Why Do Pets Matter? 10 years ago, with my iPhone and a script, I recorded the first episode of the Ultimate Pet Resolution Summit, which chatted with experts about conflicts over animals. Our conversations were intimate, honest, and illustrated how disagreements over animals occur and how those disagreements can reshape people's lives and relationships. In November 2019, I started Why Do Pets Matter, a new podcast that continued these informative discussions. I'm so excited to have you here with me, continuing my exploration into a more meaningful conversation about why pets matter to all of us. My guests and I will share ideas, stories, and experiences straight from the heart, unscripted and holistic. From the bravest moments to the most brokenhearted, we will explore how to resolve disagreements over animals differently. One thing I know for sure is I want to have more meaningful conversations that will help all of us unlock that deeply felt human-animal bond that drives the emotions of conflict. Hi, Debra Hamilton here, Why Do Pets Matter? And today we're going to talk with Chris Roy of Doobert. We've talked to him before, and he told us all about his fabulous system where he connects rescues with volunteers, volunteers with rescues, fosters with rescues. Such a great system. It's been in existence since 2014, and it's growing. So you're going to hear so much today about that program where you can volunteer to be a foster, you can volunteer to be a transporter, or if you're a rescue, you can put your name on the list and be able to be a rescue who benefits from the volunteers and fosters in your area. And he has just started from the Doobert store to donate 5% of your purchase to the rescue of your choice. And he really pushes local rescues. So that TNR group, I love the Cat Council of Westchester because they help trap, neuter, and return stray and feral cats. So you could actually earmark your 5% to the Cat Council of Westchester because they're in your neighborhood. So listen to our podcast, so much great information, read the show notes, so many links, and let's hear what Chris has to say now. Hi, everyone. Debra Hamilton, Why Do Pets Matter? And we are back again with Chris Roy, who we interviewed many, many months ago. Because of COVID, I don't remember, but I'm going to put in the show notes, the episode that you can re-listen to where he tells us all the great things he is doing in Doobert, because Chris Roy is the founder, creator, and man behind the scenes of Doobert. So Chris, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Debra. I'm really glad to be back.
So we always ask our visitors and our attendees what their first idea is when I say, why do pets matter to you?
I mean, to me, they matter because I see them as family, right? We have 5 cats right now, and I see them as children, right? They all have their own personalities. They have good days and bad days. And so pets matter to me because they are family. They're a part of my life.
Well, as family members, I know that you created Doobert to do something specific. So tell us a little bit about what Doobert is all about.
Yeah. So the best way I describe Doobert is kind of like a volunteer-based Uber and Airbnb for rescue animals. And so it's software. So if you go to doobert.com, you can sign up as a Dooberteer, volunteer. You can be a transporter. You can be a foster home. You can be a photographer. There's so many different profiles that you can do. And then we connect those volunteers or Dooberteers with the rescues and shelters. So they can log in and they can schedule the transports and all these other things. So everything is designed really to make it easy for people to get involved that want to be involved with animal rescue. I mean, it shouldn't be hard, right? We have so many burdens. And so my goal was to try and simplify this process and just make it real easy. It's free. So you just go to doobert.com and sign up.
So it's really facilitating that grassroots. What can I do to help transport an animal? What can I do, especially now that it's sometimes hurricane season and animals need to be either before the hurricane or after the hurricane displaced? they would come to Doobert and be a Dubeteer, which is a
Yep.
volunteer to either drive or foster or just whatever needs to be done, right?
Yeah, that's basically it, right? My goal is to bring technology to this underserved industry, right? There's just so many things that are needed specific to this industry. And so we're the only platform that supports animal rescue transport, animal fostering. We've got a case management module now. There's just so many different things that these organizations and Dubertiers actually need in order to connect.
Right, because there are so many people doing such great things. Oh, I love that. I love cats. They're so great. They're always walking. My Irish
I
setter,
know.
he's sleeping now, but he might get up. It really is important because I know that a number of people who would like to help, who maybe have a month off and would
Right.
like to work for that month, could get in touch with Doobert and say, listen, from October 1st to November 1st, I'm on vacation. If you need a foster, if you need whatever. And then I love that you put together a module because that gives both the Dubeteer, the volunteers, and the rescues some roadmap to follow so that they work together peacefully and that there's not all of this, what are we doing? How are we doing it? Everything is seamless as much as it can be, but also
Right.
has a guideline. So the people who are volunteering understand what the guidelines are, and the rescues who are picking up these volunteers know what the guidelines are as well.
Yeah. And that's the goal, right? Is I always say the organizations, they are still in charge of their program, right? It's your program, your transport program, your rules. You choose who you want to work with. Same for the volunteers. I'm just trying to provide the facilitation mechanism to make it easier because today, if you were to do it without Doobert, right? If Doobert didn't exist, you'd have to literally contact every organization. You'd have to be on Facebook and trying to scour around different groups to see where can I help. And so what I'm trying to do is make it easy. So Deborah Hamilton goes out, signs up as a Dubertier, turns on her profile and says, here's where I am, here's the days I'm available, here's how far I can go. And then the system does the work. So when there's a transport that qualifies, that meets Deborah's criteria, we notify her and then she can sign up to join that particular transport and be a volunteer in that transport. Same with the fostering. So you see what is the animal and are they good with dogs, cats, kids, all those things. Some of these things they sound so basic, but it's really hard when you have 4,800 shelters across the country that are all independently owned and operated, right? They're not able to share information. They don't always have the same systems and things like that. So if we can make this process easier to get more people involved, that's my goal.
And I'm a conflict resolver, right? So what I do is always look at how do we put things in place to help people communicate with each other when maybe the foster doesn't work out or the rescue is a little heavy-handed. Is there a review process for both sides, i.e., Deborah Hamilton was late or whatever, or it says Deborah Hamilton was the best, and if you can use her when she gives you her month, this would be great. Is there a review process there? And does anybody monitor it for if there is a disagreement or if there is a dropped ball, so to speak, that they have the process to have a conversation so that someone who did the best and maybe made a mistake, or a rescue who was overwhelmed and didn't necessarily talk as nicely as one would like,
Right.
there's a way to rehabilitate that relationship.
Yeah, so we do have, just like you would with eBay, we have a feedback system, right? So volunteers in a transport, they can rate the other volunteers that they meet, and they can rate the transport coordinator, and the transport coordinator can obviously rate all of the volunteers. And that is that goal. Like you said, Deborah, we want it to be transparent. And there is the option that the transport coordinator can report somebody essentially to us. I'm the one that looks at those things and determines, is this just, emotional thing, or is there really an issue? People ask me all the time, they're like, oh, we can't trust volunteers, they don't show up. And I said, listen, I can count on one hand in 8 years the number of times a volunteer didn't show up. And every single one of those times, it wasn't like, oh, I just forgot. It was car accident, medical emergency, just extraordinary circumstances that you just can't handle, right? And so that's what's so exciting to me, is that the people that sign up get it, right? They get what they're doing. They're opting into the transport. they're making a choice, a conscious decision that they want to participate. So we haven't had any real problems, cross my fingers, right? But like you said, if there are, I mean, we review every single organization that comes on Doobert. That's really important to me. And I'm the one, whenever my team finds anything that's a little bit suspect, or, from the reviews and things that we get, I'm the one that reviews, and I'm the one that reaches out to the organization to solicit comments.
Right.
And
It's so important to make sure there's a way in which to allow people to be human.
yeah, absolutely.
We all have bad days.
Yes, we all make mistakes. And I think that's my premise, right? When I reach out to people, you can judge a lot by their response. If their response is, who are you to judge me, or something like that, it's like, generally not what I get. Generally I get, hey, thanks for giving me an opportunity to tell my side. Here's what's going on. I did make mistakes, but I've learned. And that's what we want, right? People that have good intentions to help animals. That's my goal.
All they need to do is take accountability and responsibility at the time, be it whoever it is, because sometimes our perspective and perception, yours and mine, are different. And so when we do something, we're doing it for a totally different reason than maybe someone who had that done and it was totally, oh my God, it was flame out. So you really need to make sure that I love when you said, I review it. And if they, push back and say, why are you reviewing me? Who do you think you are? You give them enough, excuse the metaphor, rope to hang themselves. However, you really want to make sure that maybe they're even having a bad day today when I'm asking them about this. So let's see, because these rescues are doing great work, and the fosters and the volunteers are doing great work. And if we can connect them easily, which is what Doobert does, then that's huge.
Yeah, that's my goal, is to break down those barriers, make it easy. Everybody's not going to get along, right? You may not like a particular organization. They may not like you. That's fine. There's thousands of other organizations and thousands of other volunteers. I mean, we have now more than 35,000 Dooberteers that are signed up on the platform, which is amazing. And as I said, these aren't my volunteers. These are volunteers that are passionate about animals, that can work for and support any organization across the country. And that's what's so exciting to me, is I just want to make it easy for them to get involved and get connected, and stand back and let them do what they do.
Absolutely, because that's what we all want to do. We want to stand back. We want to let people do what they need to do to help animals in need, and then facilitate supporting those rescues and the people who volunteer. So you're starting something incredibly new with Doobert, which I think is brilliant. So tell us a little bit more about Doobert Forward, because we have Dooberteers, but now we have Doobert Forward.
Yeah. I mean, I always like to think the hardest thing in animal rescue, running a rescue shelter, is recurring revenue. They're a business, right? They are not, most of them are a non-for-profit business, but they have to have regular money coming in, and they do donations and other campaigns and things like that to try and get people to donate. But one of the things I've been saying is, like, how do we develop a real business model that can bring them real money? And that's where the idea for Doobert Forward came from. So it's really simple. If you buy your pet food now, just go to doobert.com, go to the shop, buy your pet food, treats, toys, whatever you would normally buy. Just buy it from Doobert. It'll ship to you the same way, same products, right? We will then donate 5% of your order to the rescue or shelter that you choose. The system will automatically say, who, Deborah, do you want for us to pay it forward to on this? And we'll give them 5%. I mean, everybody's probably heard of Amazon Smile, which is great. They pay 1/2 of 1%. And so to me, I'm like, yeah, that's great. But on $100, it's 50 cents. Well, on a $100 order for Doobert, we're going to pay $5. And so now you think about that, and imagine that if there's 100 people ordering, right, $100 worth of food, that's $500 a month that goes to that particular organization. So you can choose every time which organization benefits. So if you, like me, support multiple organizations, you want to kind of spread the love equally. And we really want to encourage people to support organizations in their community. And that's what's so exciting to me, is to say, listen, you don't have to do anything special. You don't need a discount code. You don't need to promo code. You don't have to use a special link. You don't have to twist in circles or, say some magic word 3 times. It's literally, you just shop like you normally would. And then we just need to know who to pay it forward to. And then as soon as your order ships, we send them a PayPal transaction for 5% of your order, real cash right into their PayPal. So as I like to say, it's the best way. I mean, you can now help animals just by shopping for the pet food that you already buy.
So if I wanted to donate to the Community Cat Council of Westchester County, New York, who's one of my clients and who I love, who do TNR in Ossining, New York, shout out to Paula. How would I go about doing that if they're not on the list, or do you just write down who you want to do? Because there's the nationals, all the big ones that you could put in, I guess, the box. And then there are like the Cat Council. How would you go about doing that?
Yeah, so the way that I've got it set up is that all Paula has to do is go to Doobert and sign up her organization. It's free, right? And the reason is because I want to verify every organization. As I mentioned to you, we check, and we actually recheck annually every organization on Doobert, because to me, it's really important that people can trust that they are supporting legitimate animal rescues and shelters. And unfortunately, there are some people out there that, will take advantage of things. So we actually check them all. So all Paula has to do is go won't even take her 5 minutes to go fill out the application on Doobert. We do our checks, and then immediately she's active in the system for you to select. So if you're a rescue shelter, Friends of Shelter, TNR group, transport group, assistance dogs group, police dog association, any organization that is animal related, wildlife rescue is another one that somebody asked me about. If you are an organization that supports animals, yes, you qualify, right? All you have to do is go sign up.
Put your name down anyway, because there might be a neighbor who you don't even know, who you trapped their cat. And when they go there, they'll go, oh, look, it's the Cat Council. I'm going to donate to Cat Council. And that would be fabulous. So I'm hoping that my listeners who are volunteers will sign up for Doobert. And then they will also sign up when they buy their pet food to do Doobert Forward. And also I will reach out to all of the rescues and the people who are working in police dog work, in facility dogs, anyone, to make sure that they know about it. And please, everyone listening here, if you know someone who is doing these incredible works, let them know. It doesn't mean there's going to be anybody there, but if they share the Doobert Forward link, they're going to be able to make sure that they are part of this in the event someone who they don't know in the neighborhood says, oh my, it's Ossining, I'll go do it there instead of for the big ones, because the big ones get a great deal of money, and I'm not taking any of that money away. However, if we really want to help local rescues and we don't have the time, which hopefully people will think about joining Doobert as a Doobertier as well, if they don't have time, really would love for them to be able to donate their, a few dollars of their purchases that they're making anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the best part. It doesn't cost them any more. The 5% comes out of our side of things. Like I said, it ships to them the same way, and it's meaningful impact, right, to the organizations that they're supporting. So that's what's exciting. And then what's been really interesting, Deborah, is I've been talking to people about this. I've been approached by other companies that said, hey, can we have our products listed on the Doobert Forward store? And I'm like, sure. Like, if you believe like we do that in this pay it forward model, and they're like, absolutely, we want to work with you. So we are trying to grow as many brands. My main distributor has a ton of brands. There's over 7,000 products, which is great. But then we're starting to work with some other brands, whether they be dog boutiques or, anybody that's going to ship essentially online. We'd love to have them part of our program. We've started to get smaller pet food brands, right? That sometimes they're more premium or they're more niche and they're not necessarily in Chewy. We'd love to have them on Doobert, right? Because they believe like we do in paying it forward and giving back to the organizations that are working so hard to save animals.
It is such a wonderful thing you do. And now you've been doing this for so many years. When did you start Doobert? I know that when we met, it had to be at least 10 years before that.
Yeah, Doobert started, I actually launched it in May of 2014. And that's how long Doobert, the system's been up, and it's just continued to grow. I mean, we started out with 0 Dooberteers and 0 organizations. And now we're proud to support more than 35,000 Dooberteers and more than 5,000 organizations. And to me, the sky's the limit. I want to keep growing this and saying, what else can we do? How can technology help? If there's a way that technology can help in the process of helping animals some way, that's all I need. I just need the ideas. And that's what's been fun for me, is to really challenge our thinking and say, how can we enable people to volunteer differently? With the Doobert Forward store, now it's how you could just shop for your normal pet food and you're helping animals. And who knows what's going to come next? We're just going to keep trying to come up with new ideas.
Well, I love our friend. What's his name?
This is Squeak. She's just up here to visit. She's
yes,
one of
well,
5.
Zooms have become quite the place for our pets to be. In fact, our pets tend not to want to be left out.
Right.
I had a friend who's a psychologist in Australia, and unfortunately she just lost her dog, but she said every time she got on Zoom, the dog would jump on her lap and say, "Isn't this about me?" Because she
Right. It is about me.
Yeah, it
Right,
is.
that's
It's
what
always
Squeak
about
is.
Squeak.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, Squeak is saying, how dare you have a Zoom without me being a part of this? So as you can see, she wants to be seen and not heard.
So it's amazing to me that Doobert has been, it's almost 10 years now, because in 24 it'll be 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think we spoke probably in 2017 or 18. I'm going to have to look that up.
Right.
Who knows? And I just would love to understand how many states have a Doobert program. What are the biggest states? What are the states you're still looking to get into?
Sure.
So that people who are listening to this can go, oh my God, I have to get in touch with Chris and sign up.
Yeah. Yeah, we're thankful to have Dooberteers across the country, literally in all 50 states.
Yeah.
The majority of the transports are going to the Northeast. That seems to be where the biggest ability to take animals in is. So a lot of the transports go from the southern states up to the Northeast, but we do have transports go across the country, north, south, east, west. That's what's really interesting to me, is there's a need to safely transport animals in all sorts of situations. And we are proud to have been a part of transporting dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, bunnies, you name it. There's been transports over the years, and that's what's really neat, is to know, when I tell people it's kind of like an Uber for rescue animals, they're like, oh my goodness, that's a great idea, because otherwise how are these animals going to get to where they're going if you don't have volunteers?
So you haven't branched out yet to the huge horse rescue group, because I'm sure that the ability to transport a horse is very
different. Yeah, it's different because it requires different equipment, different skill sets. But that's definitely an area that I've looked at. I've talked to people over the years, and I'd love to learn more. Same with the wildlife side of things, right? If there's ways that we can support the wildlife rescuers and transporters, I'm all ears, right? Just reach out to me, and I'm happy to talk with you and see what we can do to help. We were contacted recently by some organizations in Mexico and said, hey, can we enable the platform to work in Mexico? Because right now the zip codes and stuff are just US based. And I said, absolutely. So we are working.
Because you're a technology wizard, which we didn't touch upon, but you're a technology wizard, you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, everything is doable. I mean, it just takes work like everything else does. But yeah, we're now enabling it so that the platform will work in Mexico. And that's what's cool, is to think that, wow, they could actually be using this technology that I've built in other countries, and they're all doing the same thing that I want to do, which is help more animals.
Help more animals, and really make sure that the people who are in need of volunteers find the volunteers, and the people who are competent and willing volunteers find the need. And that, I think, is what's so fabulous. I'm going to have to also put you in touch with the horses. We'll start that in 2023 or 24, maybe as a 10th anniversary thing, because the Doobert Forward is starting. When is that starting? That's starting really soon.
Yeah, October 3rd is when we launch, and from there we'll see.
So when you listen to this in 2024, it'll have been done for 2 years.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. It's been a journey, even just to this point, to launch the store. You get to it the same way. Just go to doobert.com. And as you said, Debra, you can sign up there, you can go to the store, all those things. And, I've got big plans for what I want to do to keep building out the store and adding more capability. So I want to get it up. I want to make sure it works like it should. I want to see if people like the idea and believe in the idea. And then who knows, the sky's the limit again for what we're able to do to keep adding new ideas.
I love the ingenuity because it started as something that was simply going to, I think the first time we talked, connect people nearby where you were, because those were the people you knew. And now you want to make sure that it is, nationwide and soon global, because as you said, there are so many people out there wanting to rescue pets. And there are so many people out there wanting to help but can't rescue pets. So maybe they can foster, maybe they can transport. Right. So if we put all those people together, which Doobert's been doing for at least 8 years, on a smaller scale at the beginning and now on a national scale, which I think is fabulous. I'm going to put all these links to everything in the notes, but I'm also going to see if I can connect Chris with all of the horse people that I deal with, because I do a lot of supporting of horse rescue, because of course that's one of the things that's near and dear to my heart, as well as pets, don't get me wrong. However, it is really hard to have a horse because the least expensive thing you do with a horse is buy it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and
that's
it's one of the
least
things
expensive thing you do. And having
I know, and I've got to find some horse distributors that want to work with us, because right now my current pet food distributor doesn't have horse products.
As you said, if it walks through the door and you can bring it up on the technology and make it happen, you absolutely will. So why not? And sometimes, people who love dogs will also love horses and go, well, I might split because I think you said you can actually split and not just do the, Cat Council of Westchester, but you can do a few of them.
Each order you can choose somebody different, right? So Amazon Smile, you're kind of locked into supporting one organization, but you can come place an order and place a second order and a third order and have 3 different organizations that are benefiting from you shopping, right? And like I said, as soon as the order ships, we just pay it forward to them in the form of PayPal, because I want to get the money in the hands of these people as quickly as we possibly can, because they're the ones that are doing the hands-on frontline work.
And are these tax deductible, or these are just really good feeling donations that we make?
Yeah, these are good feeling donations that we make just because it's being made by me. Certainly one of the things we're going to build into the platform is if you want to add an additional $10 or $20 or something to go to the organization, I'm going to add that feature, and then it'll go 100% to them. And that portion would be tax deductible, but the piece that we're paying for it comes out of my side. So unfortunately, you don't get to deduct it on your taxes, but you do know that the same pet food that you're buying is doing a lot more good now, instead of just no disrespect to Chewy or
anybody,
or any of them.
Amazon or anybody, right? You can still do that. However, 5% over 0.5% is huge.
Right. And that's kind of my goal. Is I wanted it to be meaningful and to have an impact. And like I said, who knows where we can go with this if this really works out.
Yeah, and the sky's the limit, as you said. So the 3 things I'm taking away today is that everyone who wants to help a rescue, or every rescue who needs help, please use the links below in the show notes to connect with Doobert, become a Doobertier, or become a listed rescue with Doobert, because that way you are going to have that extra ability to find people to help you. And then, of course, after October 4th, you will be able, this is huge, to donate 5% of your doggy purchases or your kitty purchases or your gerbil purchases or small animals for now, horses to come, maybe. We just really want you to take away that if you want to volunteer, this is the place to put your name in the hat. If you have a rescue who needs volunteers, this is a place to put your name in the hat. And if you buy pet food, yes, indeed, Smile and every other one of the programs are great. But if you buy them from Doobert, then it is a greater donation to the rescue that might be right across the street, right next door, or the one you volunteer with. So just, it's earmarked for a smaller contingency that's in your neighborhood. If those people got that feral cat trapped, neutered, and returned, these are the people you can donate to. So give me your last thought, Chris, because we're coming to the end, and I hate coming to the end because every time I have you on, I'm always learning so much. But what's your last, most wonderful, most important takeaway for everyone who's listening?
I think the most important takeaway is we are very community focused because this problem is very community centric. And I really encourage people to volunteer if they can in their community. We're happy to help connect them. If you can't, shopping on Doobert will allow you now to donate within your community. And, there's so many things that go on that these rescues and shelters support, right? They support all sorts of situations in that, and it's all local, right? It's all in your community. So strongly encourage everybody to please think locally as we all work on this global problem.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris Roy of Doobert, for being here. This is Debra Hamilton, ADR, North Carolina, and of course, this wonderful Why Do Pets Matter podcast. Please read the show notes, so many links. I'm so glad you were here today, Chris. And until next time, kiss your wonderful pets for me. Bye for now. The Why Do Pets Matter podcast drops every Thursday and can be found on whichever platform you find your podcast. Subscribe now, invite your friends, and I cannot wait to have you join me in these conversations.